Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are very frustrated with legislative gridlock, leading to a mass exodus from the Capitol, maybe towards the State House. Our Amy DeLaura reports on how many senators are fleeing for governor's races.
3 senators are ready to flee Capitol Hill and run for governor in the 2026 election cycle, the most since 1797.
I think some of it is coming from just frustration.
Patricia Krauss, a practitioner in residence of public administration and political science at the University of New Haven, believes the trend of senators transitioning to governors is due to frustration with Congress's ineffectiveness.
Congress has been relatively ineffective, I think, for many years under both Democratic and Republican presidents.
Not every senator's gubernatorial bids have the same political dynamics.
As your next governor, I'll fight for President Trump's America First agenda.
Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville has the most political skin in the game. He's leaving the Senate after only a single 6-year term to run for Alabama governor.
Whether you like him or not, he's very outspoken in Congress. People in his state may appreciate that.
The enemies of Alabama are going to call me a lot of things. With your help, governor will be one of them.
2 others will still have their Senate seats to fall back on. Senator Michael Bennett of Colorado still has 3.5 years left in his current term.
Our best solutions to these challenges will not come from the broken politics practiced in Washington. They will come from us, and that's why I'm running for governor.
If the Democrat loses the governorship, he can just continue his job in the Senate. Senator Marsha Blackburn, an all but declared Tennessee gubernatorial candidate, just won re-election to her Republican Senate seat in 2024.
For some of these people, they run for governor, they lose, they go back to Congress. It's a win-win situation for them.
What may also be attracting the senators is simply the hope of accomplishing something. While Krauss admits Governor Gavin Newsome is not the best model of what you want to be as a governor, he does seem to get a lot of credit, good or bad, for the things happening in his state, leading others to believe they can possibly do more for their voters as a governor than a senator.
So I think for some, it just has to do with thinking that they can accomplish more as a governor, which they probably can, than being in the Senate or the House. I think people in Congress can see that, where I can be the voice of the people who actually voted for me. Because I don't think that that's happening right now in Congress. I think the image of a governor is a little bit more positive right now than the image of anybody in Congress.
There are a number of reasons governors are more likely to make the move to Senate than vice versa. They are simply better odds with twice as many Senate seats than governorships. Senators get a longer term, 6 years instead of 4, and the biggest reason, governors are term limited, while senators are not. Krauss says this is the biggest reason the legislative branch has become inefficient.
That's why 2 terms as a governor is sufficient, and it works well. And unpopular as it is, I believe Congress should be term limited in some way. I don't know how you do that, but I do believe that it would function better if we had term limits.
The courts, barely discussed in the Constitution, have also leapfrogged ahead of Congress in importance.
Congress isn't doing their job, in essence. So somebody has to step in, and that's been the courts.
Whether it was former President Joe Biden's push to cancel student loans, the implementation of DEI, or Trump's immigration and National Guard fight, the courts seem to be the final decision makers.
The courts have just been relegated to the decision makers because of a lack of decision making coming from Congress. And I do think that Congress has really sort of abdicated a lot of their power. Decisions seem to be made by executive order. Executive orders aren't meant to be ways to make policy. They're usually used when you just simply can't get something accomplished through Congress. The courts have just been put in this position of having to make these decisions. I don't think they're happy about it.
Another possible advantage in the past, governors were long seen as having a leg up in nabbing the presidency. At one point in relatively recent political history, 4 and 5 presidents won the White House as a sitting former governor: Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, and George W. Bush. Whether a higher position of power is in view, or simply the lack of frustration with legislative gridlock, staying closer to home may be a more appealing option for those looking to make a difference to their constituents. I'm Amy DeLaura for Washington Examiner.